I'm Daniella Pineda. I play Anais.
I'm Ben Affleck, Christian Wolff.
Gavin O'Connor, director.
Cynthia Dye Robinson. I play Mary Beth Medina.
Jon Bernthal, play Braxton.
You know, Gavin wanted to make a movie that was about this relationship in for our characters. It was central, and I just thought that was the most appealing idea. I'm a huge fan of Jon's and love working with him, and obviously done multiple films with Gavin that I'm really proud of and had great relationships. So, and that was a really appealing idea to kind of for our characters to kind of make it about the two of us. And in a way, like the challenge you mentioned, which is that we're supposed to get back together in a week, and it's been 8 years, gave us something to work through.
Well, what happened was the three of us met in Ben's office and just started kicking the tires on what these guys have been doing for 8 years. And when you sort of dissect their characters, we found ideas that evoked more ideas that allowed us to justify, even if we didn't actually work a lot of the ideas into the dialogue, but more of it was subtextual, but just justifying how much time can go by with these two guys, and then allowing that to sort of bloom into why 8 years later they finally reunited.
You know, this is a movie that, like in my life, like people come up to me all the time. It's very high likelihood that they're going to mention The Accountant. So you just kind of notice like what people have responded to over the years. And Accountant has always been a movie that people have mentioned over and over. It seems to have had a really long life, and I think streaming probably helped that, as streaming increased in popularity shortly after the movie came out. And I have a lot of affection for the movie and the characters, and obviously a history with working with Gavin and what Gavin and Bill Dubuque really built, kind of around, as the anchor and foundation of this story. It felt like there was a lot more to do, and they really got together and came up with something great. And I think Jon and I just benefited from it and tried to do that justice, and then put together the rest of the cast. It was just really lucky.
Why get in business with The Accountant again? Like, meaning, like,
Why not?
Yeah, why not? what is Mary Beth? What does she trust about him?
I'm not sure that she does initially, but I think, it's interesting. She sort of steps into the role that J.K. as Ray King, had in the first movie. And so here she is, kind of all grown up, as it were, and, enters into this very initial reluctant partnership at first with Christian Wolff. And then he's like, I know who to call. He calls his crazy brother. So it's sort of an interesting dynamic. And one of the things I really loved when I read the script is there's so much humor, and it's not things that were necessarily like pushing super hard to get the laugh, but it just is like the humor of that like uncomfortable, friction between people who are trying to achieve the same goal, but in very, very different ways.
You're a badass in this.
Oh, thank you very much.
Would you say this is your most badass role? Like bigger than Cowboy Bebop?
Well, every single part that I've ever had is always my most badass role. And I will continue to ring that true. This is hands down my most badass role.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Can you talk about training for this?
Yeah, it was intense. I've done actually a lot of fight training, I've done all that stuff before. This time was a little different, I think, because this was so character heavy at the same time. And I've never done Muay Thai before, and I spent a lot of time training with Cynthia. Also, true story, my coat is named Fernando, named after Fern, our stunt coordinator, close dear friend also of Gavin. Shout out to Fern, I'm thinking of you. I'm in solidarity with you. We spent tons of time training Muay Thai. I love boxing. I love a lot of different types of martial art. Muay Thai is hard for me. Muay Thai is tough. So for me, it was really challenging to do that day to day. I almost broke my foot. It was intense, but ultimately very rewarding, just challenging.